Hey, how you doing today? There's something I want to talk about that's on my mind that I seen on the news. And first off, I want to say I stated in one of my earlier videos that I'm a veteran. Of course, I served in the Persian Gulf War back in 20 years ago, 1990, 91. The topic I want to talk about, I want to try not to make this a 3-part series or a mini-part series, but I mainly just want to focus on the main part, which is what just happened in Afghanistan. Personally, in my opinion, I think it was long coming. You know, we can't be there forever. I mean, you look at the Soviets. They were there. They were trying to do the same thing like what we just did. You know, they're trying to make it into their own image and how they felt Afghanistan should be. And like what happened to the Soviets, same thing happened almost to our you know, to the government there in here. And I think the difference between the Soviets and our situation is that we didn't go in there with an intent to try to make them an American republic like the Soviets tried to do. So that's why I think the Soviets failed back in the 80s. And of course, the tribes there, they got a lot of help from the CIA and so forth. And that set the stage up for Al-Qaeda. You would really have to understand it for anybody interested. You have to read up on the history of how things got started. Back in the 80s, we were trying to fight communism. You know, we were trying to undermine it. I mean, in a lot of ways, we succeeded. But I think we helped out the wrong people, and then they ended up coming back at us, like as a result of 9/11 there. With that being said, I feel like being there endlessly, whether it be under Biden or Trump or a future administration, eventually it would have fallen, unfortunately. And I just feel like, as a veteran, and I feel like as an American, it wasn't, our efforts in Afghanistan weren't done in vain, but I think we ought to had been out of there 6 years ago or 7 years ago, like we were going to do. But you know what? We did our best. Unlike Vietnam, where it was really a ego trip on the president's part. I'm not talking Biden. Now we're talking Vietnam. Unlike Vietnam, where Johnson wanted to flex his muscle, we got truly attacked. And I still believe to this day Iraq was very unnecessary. I think that was because Bush Jr. wanted us to go in there, and he wanted to finish his father's work. That's just my personal opinion. I have no personal hatred toward W. Bush because I voted for the guy the first time around. The second time I didn't, and that's because of Iraq. Afghanistan I fully agreed with because Osama bin Laden wanted to attack us, so he did. And so I have to be very careful not to get too emotional about this, but it is kind of personal when I see men and women in a uniform being used as, I feel like, pawns, after a certain amount of time. But you know what? I served in the Navy, so I never had to go out in the fields and carry a rifle or anything like that. So I have to tread very carefully on this because I can get a lot of backlash. What we did with honor. We succeeded in what we had to do, and we did what we had to do. I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of the men and women and what they did. I just wish we could have gotten out sooner. Because I think no matter what, in my opinion, we should have, we ought to have gone after the Taliban. We should have gone after the leaders. We should have told Pakistan, listen, you don't hand the leaders over, we're going to come in there, we're going to clean things out just like we did with Afghanistan. But then, of course, on the flip side, and I have to be careful here because there might be people in those countries that will be watching this, so I have to be very, very careful not to offend people. On the flip side, I think it would have been the same way, probably even more messier. So, well, we did what we had to. We got Osama bin Laden. I'm glad to see him gone. And now I really just pray for those translators and their families that we can find a way to get as many of them out. I pray that a lot of the men and women in uniform that are guarding the embassy and the airport there will be able to be successful in their mission to destroying all the documents and stuff that they need to. And now we can have the final drawdown. But it's been coming a long time. I mean, this is not a Saigon, not Biden's Saigon. I mean, he did the right thing. I mean, Trump, I'll even give Trump credit. Trump felt the same way as I did, that this is a long overdrawn war where you're spending billions, if not trillions of dollars on a country where the governments are just corrupt. And it was even Karzai, for crying out loud, that didn't want us there eventually. He wanted us out. So with that being said, I think it was under Obama, we should have left. So if I was Obama, I'd say, fine, we'll have our troops out, you can handle everything. And then wash my hands of the situation. But Obama was trying to be smart about it. I think any president that's put in that situation, it's difficult. So I have really not a lot to say in it. I don't have the power. But if I did, and somebody had that kind of an attitude, I'd say, fine, you can deal with it. Hasta la vista, whatever. So my feeling is this. Trump had the right idea. And Biden definitely, he's a president. He has the right idea. What makes me really outraged is how politicians like McCarthy, Kevin McCarthy from California, the Republican, I think he was the chief of staff for Trump administration. Now he's all outraged because, oh, woe is me. Biden, because there's a Democrat in the White House, he's going to put the blame on Biden. Well, fine. I mean, he has a right to. But you know what? McCarthy ought to get all of his facts together before he starts criticizing. Because it was his party that sent us over there. It was his party that put us into Iraq. So he ought to criticize the Republican Party before he starts criticizing Biden and them. Now, like I said, I don't want to get too much into politics, but sometimes when I see two parties, Democrats for their nonsense a long time ago for sending us off to Vietnam. A lot of men came home in body bags. And then the Republican Party for Iraq and how they managed Afghanistan. That was a problem. Management. You had bad actors that was about money and greed. Afghanistan I agree with, Iraq I didn't agree with. But we're going to stick on topic. But McCarthy ought to be looking at himself, and he ought to tread very carefully. Unless he's had kids or he himself is in the military, he has no right to be outraged. He's making a mockery of the military and the veterans. So shame on him. He's got no right. Well, yes, he's got a right. It's an American right. Sorry about that, but I'm a veteran. This is personal. I commend Trump and I commend Biden, mostly Biden, because he's president. We're doing the right thing, bringing our troops home. We did what we had to 10 years ago. Mission accomplished. Time to bring them home. Now you look at Gerald Ford. I'm sure he was a Republican. He had the same. I'm sure he faced the same kind of criticism by Congress. So I guess that's goes with the territory of being president of the United States. You're going to get criticism. So I'm sure Biden's going to figure it out, and that's why I voted for the guy, because this is his moment of truth. He's not a perfect guy. He's going to make mistakes. He did not make a mistake. He made the right decision. If it was Trump in the office, he would have done the same thing. He was going to. So, I don't know, guys like McCarthy and on the Republican side, they need to just chill out, relax. It was coming. It was the right thing to do. It's unfortunate that, the army there that we helped build up could not stand the Taliban. But we ought to put the Taliban on notice after we pull out. And if they pull their crap, well, we'll just have to deal with them at a later time, I guess. I have nothing against the citizens of Afghanistan. I have nothing against even the citizens of the Taliban. What I have a beef with is the people that are running things, So, that'll be another video for another time on politics. But my heart and prayers go out to the translators and their families. God be with you. May you find safe passage. Thank you, brave men and women in uniform, for your job well done. Thank you, President Biden. God bless you. It was long coming. So that's my thoughts on Afghanistan. With that being said, God bless.